Hi and welcome back to CC Convos. Today I'll be doing a little plant update as well as a life update. On this channel, CC Convos, I post about minimalism, plants, finance, and just life in general. So if you like some of those topics and you like my video, please consider subscribing. Alright, so let's jump right into it. I know it's been a while since I posted a video, and I said I was going to post a video about repotting this plant. Never got around to that. Honestly, I repotted it, but I did not record it because it was just stressful. Ended up, the roots were starting to rot. I had sprayed them with hydrogen peroxide, and then the next day they were starting to rot, which was kind of weird. I don't know if it maybe oxidized and turned black or it really was rotting. So then I went out and I bought a clay pot. So I repotted it in this clay pot, and I mixed in some orchid bark along with potting mix, indoor potting mix, and perlite. It's been in here, and I'm just letting it dry out thoroughly before I water it next. It's been doing good. I put it on these bamboo stakes, and I feel like it's been enjoying it. On the side over here, I have a ZZ plant. Honestly, this is so honestly, it's just boring. It doesn't really do anything. I feel like this spot is just a slow grower. Yeah, it's kind of pretty, but I'm just kind of bored with it. So I'm probably gonna sell it and replace this with something else. I am more of a minimalist, so I only like to keep a couple plants, especially ones that I just love. I'm not a big fan for like hours and hours of plant chores, so I don't want to have like a huge indoor jungle. But I do love like large plants or fast growing plants. I love more of the tropicals. I would like another like pretty plant, maybe some sort of philodendron or maybe an orchid. I feel like lately I've been in this like orchid phase where I really think that I want one. They're really pretty. So maybe. Over here, honestly, this plant, I repotted it and then it started to rot. So then I planted an orchid bark, and when I repotted it, like half the roots came off. But it seems okay. It's not like super soft at the base anymore. So hopefully this one will be okay. This is just a little cutting that recently gave me this little leaf. Sorry for the cat hair. So speaking of cat hair, I recently just got another kitten. So I had a cat before, and he's about 9 months. And I wanted to get him a friend because I'm like, he's still young. This would be prime time to like introduce a new cat. And so I went and I looked online and I ended up getting a kitten. The first few days were rough. Like they did not get along. They were growling. So they were in separate rooms. But then after I let them out, maybe 3 days after being behind closed doors, and they absolutely love each other. I'm gonna try and put like a video in here of them being cute. And I'm sorry when I look at the camera, like I'm really not sure where I'm supposed to look. But this is the new baby. She is 3 months old. Hey, her name is Nona. Sleepy baby. She is just so sweet. She was a bottle-fed baby, so she is just super sweet. And this is the big boy Fern. He acts like a little dad to her. Not sure if he thinks that is his sister or his baby. But they're sleepy. All right, back on some plants over here. I know the lighting is not great at this time of day, but this variegated rubber tree just keeps producing more and more leaves. And I just love how it has that little pink tone to them when you get a new leaf. But it's just been going crazy, giving me new growth. I just recently watered it. The begonia I had trimmed, and when I trimmed it, it ended up making a branch right here. And there's gonna be a new leaf coming here. This is where I chopped the top part, and from the top part, it had a little shoot over here. And now it's giving me some new leaves. I recently sold some begonias and tons of Adansonii cuttings. And I'm gonna probably try and make a video on like my plant selling journey. I've been selling them on Facebook Marketplace. Honestly, Adansonii cuttings do really well, especially in my area. You can see some of these leaves are huge, with tons of fenestrations. Look at that. It's kind of hard to see with all the light. But look at that beauty. There's tons of big ones in here. And then the babies. These babies I'm letting grow a little bit, and then I'm gonna cut them and sell them. That's what I've been doing. Also recently sold some top cuttings of this plant where the leaves were a lot bigger. So I love prayer plants, and I know they're very picky, as like just any calathea is picky. But this plant was actually doing really well before, but then all of a sudden the leaves just started to get this in them. So I was like, okay, is that a pest? Is that a fungus? So I repotted, I sprayed with neem, everything. And then it turned out like all the new leaves would just die before they actually like opened up. When they were like this, they would just die. So then I trimmed it back, but then my cat decided that he was gonna dig it up. So he probably knocked it over like 5 times, dug it up, and then I like had to trim it, and I planted this last little piece back. And then since then I've got these 4 new leaves, and these are coming. I've been trying to fertilize it too. Maybe that will help keep the leaves prettier, especially because when I first got this plant, it bloomed. And so I think that part of the reason it started looking crazy was that the blooms were just taking too much energy and I wasn't fertilizing my plants. Right now, I'm trying to fertilize my plants. Like I used to not be someone to fertilize my plants. I would just repot them like every year, which would give them new nutrients. But I'm trying to fertilize them, make them look a little bit prettier. And I recently just fertilized and watered this Thai. And it was the first time I had fertilized it. And I feel like I used the wrong fertilizer. I think I need to use maybe like a slow release fertilizer, because the top leaf here, it got a little browning. And this just happened after I fertilized it. So I feel like that on the newest leaf is from fertilizer burn. As you probably heard in some of my other videos, this plant has been through a ton. This lower leaf does have some yellowing, but I actually thought it was gonna fall off because this plant got root rot. When I bought it, they had it planted in cocoa chips, cocoa bark. They told me to plant it in that. So I did with perlite and everything, but it was still holding too much moisture that then the roots started to rot. Even this aerial root had rotted and fell off. So I was spraying it with hydrogen peroxide. I repotted it tons of times. Sorry, that was my cat's toy. And then I recently put it in a clay pot with a lot of orchid bark, indoor potting mix, and perlite. Since I've done that, and I don't water it until the leaves start to droop and that it's pretty dry in there. Since I've started doing that, I've got these aerial roots growing. And on this side, there's another little root starting to grow. So I feel like it's happier. Today, after I watered it, it was sweating a little bit and I noticed that brown spot and I was big disappointed, but I'm hoping that it won't get any larger and I probably just won't fertilize it with that fertilizer anymore, but I'll just get like a slow release one and do it in a couple months. Here I have some spider plant babies that are growing some roots in water. The base of this plant I actually have out on my patio and I'll insert it in the video here, but it actually just gave me a new leaf and it's starting to get some fenestrations on it. So that plant I'm just keeping out there, water it when it needs to be watered, spraying it with neem basically every week. And once it gets a little bit bigger and it starts to get fenestrations, I'm just gonna cut that plant and make propagations out of it to sell. So that's mainly why I'm keeping the bottom. As of right now, all the plants I have other than the ZZ plant are plants that I truly love. And if you watched my plant tour video, you'll see that I actually got rid of the pink princess. The pink princess just, again, was underwhelming to me. This one kind of reverted back to green, and so it didn't really have the pink part that made it special, made it unique. So I ended up getting rid of that one. So some life updates other than getting my little kitty that's been keeping me busy. I recently went part-time at my job, and I've been loving it, giving me a little bit more time to focus on myself, just think kind of what I want to do with my life going forward. If you enjoyed this video and would like to know a little bit more information, maybe about like my part-time journey, working part-time, maybe how I afford to do it, any details related to that, you can leave a comment and I can make a video going into detail about it. And I'll try to post a video when I find that plant that I truly love to replace my ZZ. I'll try to post a video up here about it. And if you have any suggestions maybe about a plant that you think I might like, please leave it down in the description so I can check it out. All right, I'll see you later.